The Senate struggled for months to get agreement and ultimately a bipartisan vote to pass a $1 trillion infrastructure package. Now Democrats in Congress are moving on to something potentially even harder, staying united on a $3.5 trillion budget that would represent the most ambitious remaking of the social safety net since the New Deal. Without Republican support, they have limited time and room for error to get the plan to the president's desk. All 50 Senate Democrats stayed together to approve the budget resolution in a party line vote early Wednesday, 50-49, with one GOP senator absent. The proposal, which would expand health care coverage, fund universal pre-K and free community college, create ambitious federal programs to combat climate change and grant a path to citizenship for qualified immigrants, among other provisions, is likely to be the last major domestic legislative effort for President Biden before Washington, D.C., shifts into political mode full-time for the 2022 midterm elections. Narrow margins in both chambers and significant philosophical divisions inside the Democratic Party mean the two top leaders, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, face perhaps the most difficult task in their careers. They are also dealing with the backdrop of the country reeling from the Delta variant of the coronavirus, which has set back efforts to get back to normal. Here's a deeper look at 5 hurdles on the path ahead. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell called the Democrats' budget a reckless taxing and spending spree, and made it clear the GOP will oppose it at every turn. So Democrats are using a process known as reconciliation to get around a filibuster. Later this month, the House is expected to adopt the language of the budget resolution that the Senate drafted, to keep the process moving. And then the next step, which the Senate controls, is for various key committees to write detailed instructions. The resolution passed this week only gives the committees top-line numbers. For example, the Committee on Health, Education, Labor and Pensions received $726 billion for universal pre-K, free community college, child care programs and more. But the panel actually writes legislative text for these federal programs. Lawmakers will want to put their stamp on those, and the push and pull from the left and center of the party could mean significant debates about whether they can afford to make programs like the child tax credit permanent, or sunset them due to fiscal constraints. The reconciliation process has rules about what kinds of policies are allowed. It can include items that have a demonstrable impact on the federal budget, and there's a particular question about whether the immigration proposals will make the cut. Schumer has given the committees a September 15 deadline to draft the package. Both parties have used reconciliation to pass major legislation before.